Mm, I think we're live. Let me just check it here. Mm, Yes. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. For today's webinar, we have the presence of Tracy Kozlowski.
Hello, everyone.
She's the Associate Director for the Intensive English Program at the University of Mississippi. Tracy, thank you very much for being with us and for taking the time to explain your English courses. She's going to talk about Intensive English Program. Why should we study one? The type of programs they offer at Mississippi University and financial aid, right?
We'll mention financial aid
Yes.
as well, yes.
I know everybody wants to hear about that. It's very interesting, so I'm going to let you with Tracy to explain you.
Well, hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. And greetings to everyone here in Hidalgo, Mexico, but also around the world. I am here to talk to you today about intensive English programs. I want to explain to you what they are, what they can do for you, and how to go about finding a good intensive English program for yourself. And I will give you some information about scholarships as well. There are not many programs that have scholarships, but some do, so it's definitely worth checking on. So to begin with, I'm going to switch to our PowerPoint screen here. How do you share this? Run the program. I'm sorry, I don't speak Spanish. Like, just turn it on to the run the PowerPoint.
Sharing.
Yeah.
Share. Now.
PowerPoint.
Now you can.
But run the PowerPoint.
How?
Yeah, just start it. Yeah.
Yeah. It has already started. Yeah.
Is it showing the whole screen or is it showing just the single slide?
You can still speak and we can see the screen.
Okay, but can we run the program as the PowerPoint? Start the PowerPoint.
Yes, it's just like this. We are just seeing this screen.
You're seeing the whole screen. I just want to see just. There we go. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, here we go, guys. Sorry about that delay. All right. So yes, I'm from the University of Mississippi, and here's my title in case you want to look me up, and our website at the bottom there, iep.olemiss.edu. But I am giving you information about intensive English programs in general, not just at my university. So what we'll be covering. What is an intensive English program? Who studies in an IEP? Why study in an IEP? And what sorts of programs are available? Plus the benefits of IEP study. So to begin with, an IEP is an academic English program that gives you a full course load of language and culture courses. It is offered at many different universities. Not every university has one, but you can find them at many universities in the United States. They might have different names, such as English Language Institute or Intensive English Program, but in general, what we call this program is an intensive English program. We usually teach English at all levels, from beginner to advanced and even higher, and we offer academic, social, and professional language acquisition in our courses. So sometimes people come to us for their careers, sometimes they come to us for their academic study, and sometimes they come just because they want to learn some English on their own. Who studies in an IEP? Well, we accept students from all over the world who are non-native English speakers. So you could be from any country. It would not be for you, though, if you already are a native speaker of English, of course. You usually need to be 18 or older or have completed high school. So we accept all ages of adult age. And there are some youth programs that do exist if you are still in high school or in middle school, but Primarily, we're teaching those who are college age or older. Why study in an IEP? Some of the reasons people come to an IEP at a university in the United States is because they want to matriculate into a degree program at a university or college, because they have to meet certain English proficiency requirements, such as a TOEFL score or an IELTS score, or sometimes you can complete that requirement by completing the intensive English program study as well without the tests. Sometimes people come because they need to meet language requirements at their own home institution. Perhaps your university or school has requirements that you have to reach a certain level of English as well, and coming to the United States to fulfill that requirement is a good way to pick up on those language skills, because immersion is an excellent way of improving your language skills. To improve English language skills for professional or personal reasons. So maybe you have another reason. Maybe it's for your career, especially if you work in an industry like tourism or international exports, or things like that. Or you deal with other international companies. English is often the language that people speak to each other when they come from different language backgrounds. You might have some other reason that is your own personal reason, but whatever your reason is, we're happy to have you as an English student in our program. So what sorts of programs are available? You can find full-length programs that usually run the length of the academic year at a university. Often in the United States, these are broken into semesters. Some universities use a quarter system, but whatever their academic year is, you can usually find a program that runs alongside that. You can also find short-term programs of different lengths. There are some 2-week programs, but those would normally be a customizable program at that short length, like for a group that wants to make a program of their own. We offer 4-week programs, 8-week programs, and so forth. You can find that at many universities. We have pathway programs. If you're not familiar with pathway programs, what that means is perhaps you don't quite meet the requirements for language for universities. For instance, if they require a 79 on the TOEFL, maybe you have somewhere between a 69 and a 79. So you don't have that 79 yet, but you're very close. Or if you have like a half a point lower on the IELTS than what you need to enter their degree programs, there might be a pathway program at a university that allows you to take a couple of language courses, English language courses, to improve your academic language skills while you take a couple of courses towards your degree. And if you finish that first session without any problems, then maybe you can continue on with your degree without participating in any other language courses or having to get that higher language test score. We also have support programs. These are programs that are for students who are already matriculated into the university degree programs. Perhaps they're a study abroad student, or they have entered a United States university as a degree seeking student, and they want to supplement their studies with some English courses just to give them a little boost. For instance, classes that would be popular for this reason might be an advanced speaking and listening course, or presentation skills, or academic writing. Sometimes there are even courses offered in specific fields such as business English, or English for the sciences, thesis writing for engineering students, for instance.
That would be
That would not be a customizable program, Anna, but it is a regular course that we offer to support our graduate students from other countries, as an example. And many universities will have those sorts of support programs available to international students. So in other words, you might be able to take intensive English courses as an elective along with your other courses, even if you meet the English requirements, but you just want that little bit of assistance. We also offer group programs. That means sometimes universities and schools want to send groups to us. So we create programs for them, and many intensive English programs would be able to do that. I would say this is most popular in the summertime when our academic calendars seem to match with our holidays so that they can come during the holidays for a short period of time. And for these group programs, sometimes it's requested that we customize a program because they might want to learn something very specific or want their students to learn something very specific, and many intensive English programs can do that. And we have youth programs as well, and what that means is students who are in high school or maybe even middle school, we might have some programs available where they can come learn language or culture, anything of that sort, fulfill their high school requirements, sometimes even earn university credit before they've entered the university, those types of things. Many intensive English programs and universities will have that as well. So what are the benefits of IEP study? Well, of course, you can achieve your language goals through immersive and intensive coursework. That means you will be living in an environment where the language is spoken. So it's not just the time you spend in the classroom, but the time you spend doing your daily activities as well when you will be encountering the language. So it really helps you grasp the culture and the language. Of course, you will have many hours of language study in course, and you will be preparing for the rigorous language usage necessary for academic and professional reasons. So if you are wanting to earn a degree in the United States or even spend a semester or a year going to classes in the United States at a university, the language you're going to encounter is not necessarily the language you would have learned in a high school language class. It's going to be extremely demanding. The readings will be extremely demanding. So these types of programs in universities help you get up to that language level so that you don't have as much of a problem working in that language while you're working in those classes or in those degrees. One of the best benefits of an intensive English program in the United States is that you will have multicultural classes. And what we mean by that is your classmates in the IEP classes are going to be from all over the world. It's not going to be like studying an English course in your own country where all of the other students are from your country in most cases. You might have a class of 12 students in the class, and they could be from 11 different countries. And that's fascinating. It's a lot of fun to study abroad in another country and get to interact with people from all over the world, not just from the country that you're in and not just from your own country. You'll gain cultural knowledge that will deepen your language comprehension. And obviously, because it's a multicultural class, you're going to gain cultural knowledge about many countries too, which is wonderful. You'll have multiple resources available to you as a student in an IEP program. We often have tutors available for the students and a computer room where students can go to work on their projects and send emails and do all sorts of things. And of course, there are some scholarships that exist for IEP study. Not every university is going to have it. It's still fairly rare, but there are universities that do have scholarships for intensive English programs. So it would definitely be something you should check into if you are looking into an intensive English program. So how do you find a good IEP? That's a good question. You don't want to be scammed by anyone, of course, and we want to protect you too. So I want to provide you this information so that you know how to find a good IEP. The first step I would take is consult your local Education USA Advising Center. They are experts about study in the USA, and they know how to look into programs. They will research a program for you and let you know that it is a legitimate program if it has anything to do with universities in the United States. You can also check with professional organizations, and here are a couple that you can access online. These are professional organizations for intensive English programs. Some of them are at universities and some of them are not, but they would have had to have gone through a process to be included in this organization. So if you look on their list of participating programs, you can be confident that it is a good program. And one of those programs is UCEP, that's the University and College Intensive English Programs Organization, and you can see their website right there. You can go there and find their list of participating universities and colleges, or you can go to English USA, which is another organization. This is the one that might have programs that are not necessarily part of a university or college, but they've still gone through a process to make sure that they meet certain standards. So it'd be a good place to look for an English program in the United States. And you can also check with accrediting agencies. Oops, sorry. Let's get back to that page. Where is it? There it is. CEA, which is the Commission on English Language Accreditation, and here is their website. And they are an international accrediting agency that have rigorous standards. It takes a long time and a lot of effort for an English language program to be accredited by them. So they're definitely a good place to search for a credible intensive English program. And that about explains everything in general about intensive English programs. So is there anything in particular you would like me to cover other than that, Anna?
Yeah, I don't know if you could talk about when should they apply, if there's a specific time during the whole year or...
Okay, so when to apply to a program? That's a very good question, and it's going to be different from university to university. So it's very important that you check with the program to which you want to apply to see when their deadlines are. But in general, what I would say is it's very important to give yourself time to go through the student visa interview process. So in general, our deadlines for application to the program usually run about 2 months prior to the beginning of any program. So if a program starts in August, like the middle to late August, our deadline for application is going to be July 1st. That is actually our current application deadline at our university. Other universities have different start times. They'll have different deadlines. So always check with a program's deadline if you want to apply to them. It's very important because you need to give yourself time to get all of your paperwork done for admission. After you get admission, you have to wait to receive your I-20 form, which is the document that allows you to apply for the student visa. And then you have to get an interview appointment for the student visa and go through that whole process and then wait to receive the visa before you can even get your ticket to go to the United States. So that takes a little bit of time, and you want to give yourself the time to do all of that. So yes, application deadlines are going to be usually at least 6 weeks to 2 months before a program starts, but always check with the specific program.
Okay, and can you talk a bit about the cost?
Well, the cost is going to be different from university to university. Sometimes universities will have shorter programs and longer programs. So always, all of those factors are going to change the price. So if you are looking into a specific program, you want to check on their website. They should have the costs posted somewhere for you to look. And if you can't find them, there's always a way to email the program and ask. Okay, but I mean, if you want a general idea about my university, okay, so the University of Mississippi, our intensive English program for a semester of study, that's about 4 months. Our semesters are August to December or January to May, and our tuition is $4,750. Now that's tuition alone. $4,750 for a semester of intensive English program study. And that's probably only about half of the cost though, okay? Because, okay. Yeah, all right. So that's only probably about half of the cost of actual study because you have to take into account that there are other fees. There's an application fee. There's often some sort of medical procedures you have to go through when you first get there. When I say procedures, they have to check on vaccinations. They might have to run some tests, and those cost a little bit. You have to get housing, and housing, you know, has a cost to it. You have to have a place to live.
Do you have a residence?
Our university has on-campus housing available to the students. It's not required for our students, but we do have it available if they would like to stay there. And it's very convenient for them to live directly on campus because they'll be close to their classes and live in places with other students, which is often quite fun. You're going to need a meal plan if you live on campus because you don't have full access to kitchens, although our dormitories do have kitchens available, like communal kitchens available for the students. I would say that's pretty typical in most American universities as well. So it's a little different if you live off campus and on campus as far as those types of costs go. But keep in mind, tuition is probably only about half of the real cost.
Okay, and you are saying they should apply on July 1st? But
if they want to start in August, July 1st is the deadline for applying to the program, yes.
And if they want to apply for a scholarship or financial aid, they should apply before that time?
For our scholarships, our university does have scholarships for the intensive English program. And we have one that is 100% tuition. We have several that are 20% tuition, and we have several more that are material scholarships, which are about $300 each for students who get accepted to those scholarships. That application deadline for us is July 15th. So they have actually a little bit more time after they've applied to the program to apply for our scholarships.
Okay.
And if anyone needs information on that, they can go to our website at iep.olemiss.edu, which I showed you earlier in the presentation. And there is a link.
Have it here?
Ah, there it is. Yes, at the bottom of the page there. And you can find a menu, and on that menu, there's a selection for scholarships where they can find out information about our scholarships.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else you'd like me to cover, or any other questions coming in from our audience?
We don't have questions here, so I think we're
all done?
Okay, yes.
Okay, well, thank you so much for being with us here today. Stop sharing the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much for being with us here today. And we're here to answer your questions. So don't forget, the Education USA office is awesome. They're a great place to find out answers about studying in the USA. And of course, if you have questions about my program, you can contact me at studyenglish@olemiss.edu. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, guys. See you on the next webinar. Thank you,
Bye-bye.
Tracy. Bye.